Welcome to my channel, you guys. So today I'll be taking you guys on a tutorial to explain the Adobe Illustrator interface for beginners. So you guys, let's go straight to the tutorial. As you can see, I'm already on the introductory page of the Adobe Illustrator. Now when you toggle on your Adobe Illustrator, this is the next page you see after it loads. Now just what you see beneath here, under here, are just the recent documents you've opened, like recent documents you've opened, the designs you've done recently, or recent files you've opened. They're going to show under this place, as you can see. And just above that, we have preset sizes. Now these preset sizes are sizes that Adobe has put in place. Now you might have let's say like a banner to do, or a flyer, and one of these preset sizes might actually be a good fit for that project. And if you feel you need to put in your own size, or you were given a size by your client, all you just have to do is come to create new and tap on create new. Now let's tap on our create new, and now this is the box that we have been given, the dialog box, and here it allows us edit our artboard, which is where we are going to be doing our designs. Now here you can add the name of your document. I'll just put tutorial here, tutorial, and here you can add the width and the height. You can change the unit. Do you want it in landscape or you want portrait? Your number of artboards, bleed, which is something else that we'll be talking about in another tutorial. You can just leave the rest of the settings out there and just tap on create, and this will create your document. Now our document has been set up, as you can see. Now if you want to re-edit your document, I'll just zoom out. If you want to re-edit this artboard, this white box you're seeing, the white square, this is our artboard. If you want to re-edit this, you have to go to your properties panel. Now if you don't see this your properties panel over here, you can always go down to Windows, up. When you go to window, just go down and search for property, and just tick that if it is not yet ticked on. But once you see it is ticked on, it means it is somewhere on your screen and you just have to locate it. So if I come down to Windows and let's say I tap on color, you can see this color box shows up. So now that we have our properties panel, you can go to document setup. As you can see here, this quick action that we are seeing right here that I'm hovering upon, just tap on document setup and it will bring out this other box where you can edit your artboard. Here you can change the unit, you can add bleed, you can show images in outline mode. There are other things you can do, or you can just come down here to edit artboard and it activates this tool, this artboard tool, or you can tap Shift O on your keyboard to activate the artboard tool. And you can just use the artboard tool to create artboards by just clicking and dragging on the empty space. And you can also edit your previous artboard by hovering to one of its anchor points, and just once you see this arrow that has two arrow heads, that indicates you're about to edit the artboard. You're about to change the size, the width, the height of the artboard. So I'll just leave it how it was, and you can just snap out of edit mode. Just go to your selection tool or tap V on your keyboard to go to your selection tool, the first tool as you are seeing, the black arrow. Now that we know that the first thing we'll be talking about today in this tutorial is our text tool. Our text tool, as you can see here, we have bunch of other properties for colors, gradients, and some other tools that will be very useful. You learn about this the more you watch other tutorials. Now tutorials can't cover everything, so the more you move around watching different tutorials on different topics, they use different tools, and that's how you get to know them more. That was how I learned it. So you guys need to watch more tutorials from other channels, from my channel, and you take note of the tools that they use in every video. From there you get used to the tool. That's the only way you can learn it. So now you can just tap T on your keyboard to activate the type tool, or over the T icon as you can see on the left hand side, and just tap. It brings out a preset text, and you can just go to your selection tool, the black arrow, And as we can see, our text has been selected. Now if it isn't selected, you can always click and drag or just tap on it, and you see it enters edit mode. Now if I unselect that, you can see your properties panel changes its settings, and once something is selected, it enters edit mode. Now if you want to change the size of this text, you can go to one of its anchor points and just click and drag. But as you can see, the text tends to stretch as we drag it. It is not stretching how we want. It's not stretching proportionally. So what you have to do is tap on your shift key on your keyboard. Once you tap on your shift key, it scales that proportionally and it won't stretch as it was before. Now let's make that bigger. Now down to the properties panel. Let's select it. Now we are in edit mode. Now down to the properties panel, as you can see here, you can change the values, the x values, y values. All this, just leave them alone. You can come down to appearance to change the fill, which is the color. As you can see, I'll just leave that in black or red so you can see more clearly. You can add stroke. You can add black stroke. As you can see, let's leave that at none. Or you can come to the left hand side where we have our tools. You can also add color at the fill panel, where you can just double tap and it brings out this box where you can choose any color, and you can also add stroke here. So away from that, just beneath the appearance, we have character. Now in the character, where the first thing you see there is where you can change your font. So it shows the set of font families you have, so you can just change your font to any type of font you like, and if you know the name of the font, you can always type it in. So I'll be using Gotham, which is one of my favorite fonts. And just beneath that, we have what we call the weight, where you can pick your weight. Now this weight depends on the font you are using. Each font has its own weight. For the Gotham I'm using right now, it has just two weights: ultra and bold. Some fonts might have up to 7 weights. We have thin, they could have thin, thick, they could have really light, they could have bold, ultra. As you can see, they could have black. So it depends on the font. Now under that, on the left hand side, we have the font size. This is another way you can increase the font size and reduce the font. So if you tap on the arrow facing up, the font increases, and if you go down, it reduces. And the other arrow on the other side is to choose preset sizes that has already been put in place, as you can see, or you can just click and type in your own. So I'll be typing in 100, and by the side, just by the side, we have what we call the leading. Now the leading is the space between each and every letters. So once we increase our leading, the leading is the space between these two letters. As you can see, two words over each other, as you can see. So the spacing between both of them is what we call the leading. As you can see, as I toggle that up, it increases the space, and as I move down, it reduces the space. Sorry. Now just beneath that, we have what we call tracking. Now tracking here is the space between each letters. So you have to be in edit mode to be able to do this. So once you select it, you can go down to your tracking and either choose a preset size. As you can see, the space between each and every letter tends to increase, and if you just go to the minus side, they tend to reduce. You can also use the up arrow to increase the size, the spaces, or the down arrow to reduce the spaces. Now lastly, we have our kerning. Now as you can see, the kerning is set to auto, and if you come down to the presets, you won't see anything selected, or if you try going up or down, it won't work. That's because our kerning is the space between two letters. Now this time, not all the letters, 2 letters. So you have to be in between 2 letters. As you can see, I'm in between 2 letters right now. and if I move up, the space between only those two letters tends to increase. Now I'll just choose one of their preset sizes, 200. You can see, or you can go down and it reduces, or you can go auto. You can also type in yours. If I type in 300, the space tends to increase. So that's all you need to know about the character panel. Now if you come down, we see paragraph, and we also see align. This is just to, well, to just align your text, objects, or wherever you might be using around. Now if I come to the align, we have the horizontal align left, which aligns it to the left, horizontal align right to the right, and center to the center. And we have that of vertical align top, vertical align bottom, and vertical align center. Right now our text is in the middle of this artboard as we've aligned it. And we have that of paragraphs. We can align left, we can align center, align right, just like that. Now your object or text will be moving around, so you can just use your selection tool to take it to where you want. So I guess that is all you need to know about your text right now. So let's take that aside. Now let's go to our shapes. Now if you just go to your rectangle tool or tap M on your keyboard, if you go to the left hand side where we have our tools, you will see this rectangle icon, and once you click on it, you've activated your rectangle tool. And if you stay long, you click on it without releasing your mouse, you still stay on it, it brings down a drop down menu of other shape tools. We have the ellipse tool, we have the polygon tool, the line segment tool, arc tool. You can use it to draw these shapes. So for now, we'll be working with our rectangle tool. Now click on your rectangle tool, and once I click and I drag, I draw my rectangle. Click and drag, I keep drawing rectangle. Now what if you want to draw a perfect square? To draw a perfect square, you see, once I click and drag, I keep getting a rectangle, and if I try to bring it to a perfect square, I have to be moving it around, as you can see, to get that my perfect square. But to do that easily, once you tap on your rectangle tool, you click and you drag, hold down your shift key, it snaps it in place and gives you a perfect square. As you can see, a perfect square, no matter how you scale it, it still gives you a perfect square. But once you leave your shift key, it releases it and you keep getting your rectangle back. So that's how to create a perfect square. So let's create our perfect square. Now let's still delete that. Now I click, I drag. Where I clicked from has been taken as an edge of the shape. What if you want that to be the center? What if that's where you want the scaling, where you want the center to be? So let's hold down our shift key to get a perfect square. And once I hold down my alt, that turns to our center and it scales it from center, as you can see. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying here. So let's just draw our square. Now start drawing your square. Let's go back to our selection tool. Now if you look at your square, you will see a circle inside these squares, a circle inside each and every of these square at the edges, at the corners and everything. Now this is to curve that point. Now if I click on it and I drag, you see it tends to get curved. That's what those circles are for, and you can always take it back. Now what if you just want to do just this side alone, this side, as you can see, you have to click on it and then you can click and drag and to edit only that point, and you can always take it back. What if you want to do 2 or 3 at the same time? You just have to click on the first one, hold down your shift key, click on the second one. If you need a third, you can click on the third one, still hold down your shift key, and then you just click and drag and to do only those points you've selected. Away from that, now let's take a look at our direct selection tool, the white arrow just beneath the black arrow. Select that, and what that allows you to do is edit this shape. Now I can edit each point alone. Now let's select our shape. I can decide to also curve with the black arrow with the same process as the black arrow. We can do that with the white arrow, the direct selection tool. Now I can also edit this anchor point alone. Normally with the black arrow, I can just click on this. If I try to click on it, it either tries to scale it or tries to rotate it. Now with the direct selection tool, you can edit this point. Now I clicked on the first point, I can drag that around to give it another shape. I can do that for the rest. As you can see, you can edit the anchor point on its own. So that's one thing you can do with the direct selection tool. You can also delete its point. So if I select this anchor point, I can just tap delete and it will delete it. Now let's delete our square. Now go to your rectangle tool and just long click on it and choose your polygon tool. Now draw your polygon. Now before we move on to what we are about to do now with the polygon, if you go to your polygon tool and you select that and you just tap instead of click and drag, it brings down this box where you can edit the number of sides. So if I change the number of sides to 3, I'll be given a triangle, and once I click and drag, I'll keep on drawing a triangle. So you can just delete that. I just wanted to bring that to your notice. So bring in your polygon, and you can also scale it the same way. Go to one of its anchor points and just click and drag, and hold down your shift key to scale it proportionally, and then bring that to the center. Now going to our direct selection tool, I can, as we said, we can edit just one point, right? As you can see, I'm moving this to form an arrow. I can bring it back, I can curve the edges. You can also delete points. So once I select only this one and I tap delete on my keyboard, it deletes that. Now as you can see, this shape is not more a full-filled shape. If I drag that around, you can see it isn't a full-filled shape, it's not more a shape. There's a space around this side. So to cover that up, there are two methods you can use to do that. Either go to one of its anchor points, right click and tap on join, and that joins it. As you can see, that joins it, and now it is a full-filled shape. Another way to do this, let's just go back by tapping Ctrl Z on our keyboard. Another way to do this, it's not more a full-filled shape. Another way to do this is with your pen tool. Now if you tap on your pen tool or tap P on your keyboard, or just go to the pen icon on the left hand side where we have our tools, you activate your pen tool, and you can just go to one of its points, click on it, and you see a line following it. You can draw back your polygon. You can also just go directly and join it, or you can also create shapes with it. As you can see, I can create my arrow with it. If I have another idea for something else, I can just do it with my pen tool. Now the pen tool is a broad tool on its own. It's something that has to be explained alone on its own. So I've actually done a tutorial and I've uploaded it on my YouTube channel. So you guys can go check it out. I'm probably going to show it on the screen right now, and if you don't see it on the screen right now, at the end of this video you'll see it. At the end of this video you will see the tutorial of the pen tool, and you can just click on it and watch it. Now we can just delete this. Now the next thing we'll talk about is our brush. We have our brush, but before we go to our brush, let's check out the other shapes. We have our ellipse tool, where you can draw, which you can use to draw your ellipse. As you can see, draw your ellipse, and don't forget to give you a circle. Tap on your shift key and draw your circle. We also have our line segment tool, which you can use to draw line. Just click and drag, click and drag. Now as you can see, it is there, but the stroke isn't big enough. So if I select it and I go to my stroke and I give it a stroke and I increase the weight, you can see now it's visible. So don't think you drew your line, you didn't see it there. Now we also have our arc tool. We also have the arc tool to draw arcs, and I guess for now that's pretty much all. We also have our star tool, the star tool, which you can use to draw star, and if you click you can edit the number of points. Now if I give it, let's say 100 points, and I tap OK, we get this cool design. Let's just delete that. Now let's go to our brush. Our brush, give it a color. You can turn that to fill and also draw, as you can see. So you can just keep on drawing. It's always useful in most cases. I don't really use it though. I've not really have any case where you need to use the brush, but it will be useful for some people. So you can just go there, click on it, and just keep on drawing, and you can just form a shape, go back to where you started, then take that part and just give it a fill, and it fills it in. So that's about the brush, and I guess that's pretty much everything I need to talk about in this tutorial. Now I'll be doing other tutorials to talk about more tools, and I can't teach everything. As I said, you have to watch other tutorials, and the more you watch other tutorials, they will make use of other tools in the Illustrator, and the more they make use of other tools in Illustrator, the more you get used to them, and the more you practice with these tools, you get used to them. That was how I learned the Adobe Illustrator. It wasn't by any tutorial, it was by watching other little tutorials on how to do different things in Adobe Illustrator, and I'll be releasing those tutorials to do different things. Watch it, take note of the tools I'll be using, and also watch tutorials from other channels. I alone can't give you the knowledge you need. You have to move everywhere, try everything. So you guys, that's everything about this tutorial, I guess. So I guess you should be seeing the pen tool tutorial now. You guys can go and watch it, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Comment down in the section below what you might probably want me to talk about in my next video or in one of my YouTube videos, or probably you like this video and just want to say something like nice. You can comment it down in the comment section. Like this video, share with your friends. Share with your friends. There are a lot of people out there who might need this course. Share it around, and you might actually help get this video to the right person. So I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Peace. My God.